Highlander 2, The Quickening, is one of the most hilariously incomprehensible experiences I've had in a long time. This movie shows real evidence of having been edited almost at random. Let's take out this and this. And the science in the movie is just as crazy.
Happy New Year. It's Movie the Podcast. That's right. Movie the Podcast.
That's right.
It's Knifesmiths or whatever. It's a wonderful knife. It's the last late week of it. We watched Highlander 2. You've been missing us for several weeks. We haven't spoken since last year. Here we are.
We took a little break.
I wouldn't say they've been missing us.
Yeah, no.
We're back at full speed, full weight.
It's tough to record on Christmas Day. I don't know. It's a weird day to record. Well, kind of. I don't know. Apparently.
It was challenging for me, so you guys could have. But I took all the notes. I took 12 pages. This is old school. I have several pages of notes.
Yeah, we watched Highlander 2, The Quickening.
I don't even know if I remember that. Like, I'm gonna say things and people have to recall what I'm referring to.
Don't worry. This movie is burned into my memory now. This movie is something else. One of the few examples of a movie that is generally considered one of the worst movies ever made, and unlike Spider-Man 3, I actually kind of agree with them.
Hey.
All right, anyway, we got a lot to get over since we haven't been here in 2 weeks, or go over. What did y'all watch this week? I turn to my man on my virtual left. Alec!
I'm not going to talk about everything because it's been
probably 8,000 things.
I mean, and almost all of it's Christmas movies.
Oh yes,
weeks of Christmas movies. But I will talk about two Christmas movies, or two movies and then one Christmas movie. I've talked about the Christmas movie before. I talked about it last year. And I don't know if anybody's watched it yet, but I can't say enough about it. This stupid, ridiculous, insane, low budget thing called A Christmas Karen.
Oh yeah, Karen. I remember you talking about that.
Which is just like a Christmas Carol, but if Scrooge was a Karen. And
fun idea.
It's so funny. Nobody in it you ever heard of, seen before, or will ever see again. Like, it's directed kind of strangely. The dialogue's not great, but it is so goddamn funny that can't quite put my finger on why, but I love it. And you guys should watch it, even if you're not in the Christmas spirit.
What's it on?
Shit. I want to say Tubi or Crackle, one of the
freebie situations.
One of the B tier. One of the B tier streamies. But sometimes those ones come through.
Oh yeah, a lot of times.
Yeah, especially when you can find like Tubi originals. Apparently it's on Peacock and Tubi and Plex. It's on like everything.
Hey, Peacock is
it's on Freevee.
Alec.
What?
Alec. What was the name of that movie you watched where Michael Shannon's wife was fucking Bigfoot or whatever? I wanted to watch that.
Welcome to Potterville or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, Michael Shannon comes home and his wife's a furry.
Oh.
So then he goes on a hunt for Bigfoot.
Not mad at that.
Yeah, that was a few years ago. I watched that. It's a ridiculous film. Michael Shannon shows up in some ridiculous things. He's an interesting guy.
Yeah, he really is.
He should be Zod more often. That was a Christmas movie. Christmas Vacation, A Muppet Christmas Carol, Harold and Kumar Christmas, Ernest Saves Christmas, Bad Santa.
Ernest Saves Christmas is a banger.
Ernest Saves Christmas is ridiculous. I mean,
I love that fucking movie.
It's a Jim Varney, Ernest P. Worrell movie, but it's ridiculous. I don't know if it's ridiculous as Ernest Scared Stupid.
Ernest Scared Stupid's insane.
What about Ernest Goes to Africa? Is that a real thing, or is that something that I've made up in my head?
That is a real thing.
Is it really? Oh, no.
Yep. I think it was probably ended up lining up in the vein of like Ace Ventura 2, like super offensive.
Okay. He just goes to General Africa.
Yeah, it just went to the nation of Africa.
Pretty much. Yeah, I started watching. There's a Batman Christmas movie, an animated
cartoon,
one.
right? Yeah.
It's like I thought it was going to be like a half hour, full length movie, and it's not very good.
Oh,
no.
It's like a full hour, almost hour 40 minutes. Like we're watching, I was like, is this thing going to end?
Like what era of animated Batman is it?
It's current.
New.
It's like
not Kevin Conroy.
Oh, okay.
No, the animation looks really weird.
Luke Wilson voices Batman.
Huh.
Wow.
The animation's cool. And like
Owen Wilson.
It would have worked. It would have worked well as like I figured it was like a half hour, like an episode type thing.
Yeah, like, I thought it was from the commercials.
Not a full ass movie.
I don't know why when you said you watched a Batman animated Christmas, I just thought of I was thinking of what's the Nora episode of the animated series, the Mr. Freeze,
the Mr. Freeze episode.
Heart of Ice, I think it's called.
Yeah.
I mean, Batman Returns is a non-animated Batman Christmas movie.
That is correct.
It absolutely is.
Who was the heavy in your animated Batman film?
There were a whole bunch of them. It shows like there's
the old Rogues Gallery.
Yeah, I think the Joker ended up being behind it, like all the little guys made appearances.
All the dudes.
Is Batman's son Damon in that movie, or is it somebody else?
That's basically what it follows. Is his son?
I don't want to be this guy, but I'm pretty sure his name is Damien and not Damon.
I like the name of Bat Damon, though.
Yeah, Batman's son's Damon and Marcus Wayne.
Dame.
Dame time.
And then today watched Major League and Kingpin.
Hell yeah.
Sports comedy doubleheader. And both of those slap.
Kingpin, I feel like slept on, like criminally slept on. I do. I think. I think people who like it, the people who know it love it.
Do you think it's like slept on, or you think it's just time capsuled?
I'm gonna go slept on. I think that it's like young kids, the kids on the street. TikTok's not talking about Kingpin.
Hey Roy, I know how you like to drink.
You would be surprised. TikTok talks about everything.
They really do.
I don't know why that's
right now. Or if I search on TikTok right now, I could probably find a review for Highlander 2.
The weird thing about TikTok is like the social media platform where time kind of doesn't exist. It's very weird. Like people discuss stuff like it's like Dr. Manhattan's social media. It's very odd. Alec knows what I'm talking about. Stuff will pop off that's like 20 years old, and you're like, what?
Yeah, like I'll get like TikTok things where they are like it's like groups of people starting to review like Days of Future Past. The art, not the movie.
Right, yeah.
And they're like, oh man, Israel's invading Palestine. Like, which time? Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know why Kingpin, the scene that just kills me every time is hey, Roy, I heard you like to drink, and the guy that he planned the burglar with, and there's like, get out of here, you crazy ass robber.
He throws the hot dog.
Yeah. Dude, that movie rocks.
That movie does rock. Bill Murray's really good in it. I mean,
R.I.P. Vanessa Angel? I don't know if she's dead, but might as well be.
I don't think she's dead.
Oh, I mean, might as well be.
I'm not positive, but I mean, I would say her career probably is.
Take that.
She got Munson.
Yeah, that weird science TV show didn't take off the way they thought it would.
Holy shit.
Loved that show. I watched the shit out of that show.
I don't think I ever saw it.
On the USA Network, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was like, was it contemporary to Duckman? Like, was it on around the same time?
It was around in that same time, yeah.
I want to say they advertised it during Raw. That's why I know about it. But anything else, Monsieur Alec?
Yeah. I was like Kingpin, also Major League. Major League is fucking tremendous.
Major League 3, not so much.
Yeah, Major League 3 sucks.
Not so much. Apparently, according to the Wikipedia page, 2 or 3 times they were going to basically Highlander Major League and make another one, but totally ignore the third one and just go right, like from the second to the fourth.
It's just like 2 hours of Charlie Sheen in a hospital.
I think he kind of blew it himself when it was the idea was he was going to be Rick Vaughn and be like a pitching coach for some new
It's not
phenom.
a bad idea.
I think Charlie screwed Charlie screwed Charlie.
Call up Emilio.
They just couldn't make that movie these days. Like, I don't know, comedies just aren't funny anymore. I feel like you'd have to get the right people involved.
Conservative Bob. You can't be funny anymore. You can't tell jokes.
Well,
you can make that Major League. So here's the thing. So Major League is rated R.
Yes. That
Major
alone
League
is a problem.
Major League 2 is PG.
Major League 2
slaps. It might even be funnier than the first one.
I agree.
I don't know. Is it maybe just because, like, we're old and shit's just generally not funny anymore? Like, we don't like... Because I can't recall the last time I saw a comedy, like a straight up, not like a, you need to leave or something like that, but just a straight up ass regular, like, dodgeball kind of comedy, that I like. You should
watch Vacation Friends. That's probably the last one.
I like that one. I like that one with the little kids they were all foul mouthed, but that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's even like something like We Are the Millers, which is like, I like it, but it's like, not really great, but it just kind of sticks out because,
that movie's like 6 years old. Probably
I think the Hangover movies probably killed comedy.
We're the Millers is like 12 years old.
Yeah.
That American Fiction movie looks funny. That's supposed to be a comedy.
American?
Yeah, right.
But that's like the kind of comedy. Like, I know what you're talking about. It looks good.
It does look good.
It looks good. But it's not like a slapstick.
Yeah, that's
like too many people are making
it's not
either
like a dodgeball.
They're making cerebral comedies, or everybody's trying to be so absurdist with their comedy and so out there, carve their own niche.
They're not making like four quadrant dum comedies anymore.
Yeah, I got you. No more. There's no more old schools.
Yeah, I think the Hangover kind of killed all that. Like,
they made like 10 of them.
Yeah, they made way too many of them.
Major League also slaps. I'm in the middle of season 2 of Reacher, and Reacher's a lot of fun once you realize
that guy's so big.
He is so big. It's insane. And I think they cast small people to be around him for the most part. But one of the guys in season 2 is Dom from The Wire.
Oh, no shit.
White guy. And he is like 3 inches shorter than this dude. It's ridiculous. That show's fun when you realize it's like a high level espionage for idiots, or high level like crimes for dummies. Because like they really lean into everything, and at first it was like, oh, they're taking this way too seriously. But then you kind of realize, because the main actor's he's good. He's not a great actor, but he's good enough for what he needs to do. But some of the lines he delivers are supposed to be like almost dripping with irony, or because they're taking it so seriously, it's supposed to be kind of funny. But it's almost like Raider Wolfcastle.
I was going to say it's up and at them.
No, up and at them. That's what I'm saying.
Up and at them. Up and at them.
But I would say Reacher's pretty good. It's worth at least a little watching. You got Prime already. And we're halfway through season 2 of Fargo, which
that's
the newest Fargo, which might be the best season. It's so goddamn good so far.
So behind. I got 2 seasons behind.
This season's got Juno Temple, John Hamm, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Dave Foley's in it. It's really good. It's really good.
The first 2 seasons were really good.
Yeah, the first 2 seasons are great.
Seasons 1 and 2 are excellent, and this is this is up there with them. Season 3, and season 3 is not as good as the first 2, but it's still really good. The one with Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Ewan McGregor playing the twins.
Yeah. Does anybody have any interest in the Jodie Foster True Detective? I just saw that ad. I know I'm way behind on everything, but
no,
I honestly
really.
didn't even know True Detective was still going.
Yeah,
they stopped for a while
after season 2 because season 2 was so bad.
No, they made a 3rd season with
Mahershala Ali,
and Mahershala Ali, which is actually okay. The ending.
Well, didn't Jeremy Saulnier do like the first like episode or 2 and then like bow out of that? Is that the same show?
Possibly, I don't remember. Maybe I'm not sure. I mean, it wasn't terrible. It just wasn't great either. I mean, the first season. I'm gonna go out on a limb. First season might be one of the best seasons of television like ever made. So it's got a high watermark. And then the second season, one of the worst. Like one of the most convoluted ass plots I've ever seen in a show.
Well, it just goes to show how effective plagiarism is, honestly. Like
exactly, yeah, for real. Shout out to Thomas Ligotti.
And plagiarism.
And plagiarism. Yeah. Anything else, Mr. Alec?
No, Gogs.
I watch a shitload of things, so I'll just keep it quick. The second half of John Wick 4 got me. I'm back. I like John Wick 4.
Oh, yeah, how are you, by the way? You were in kind of like bad spirits, I think, last time.
I'm better now, I think.
Okay.
So, but thank you. Thanks for the health check. John Wick 4, check it out. It's less John Wick than you'd think you would see, but a lot of Donnie Yen, and who's mad at that? Not me anymore.
I was looking forward to that ballerina spinoff, but it's getting directed by the Underworld guy.
Pass. Hard pass.
Yeah.
I watched Godzilla -1 with TJ. Loved it.
Ooh.
It's fucking tremendous.
So
it's a fucking triumph. I watched The Meg 2. It is not a triumph. It's very bad. I watched.
How do you have a Meg movie with too much Meg and also not enough Meg?
There was it's like 6 Megs and not enough Megs. It's trash. And the plot is stupid. And the first movie's plot was dumb as hell. And this got dumber somehow. I watched Smoking Causes Coughing. Enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
That movie's silly. When the robot commits suicide, I cackled. That's a modern comedy. It's programmed.
Yeah, everybody's gonna love that.
It's programmed to commit suicide after a successful mission. That's fucking bananas. Not for everybody, but was for me. I revisited a movie that apparently I've only seen bits of, and I've never seen the whole thing from front to back. I watched Weird Al Yankovic's UHF. Man.
Oh. You've never wow.
I've always seen parts of it, turns out. I've never seen
one of my favorites.
That is
absolutely shocked.
Dude, I feel like that was
I've seen I've seen Who Wants to Drink from the Fire Hose, You're So Stupid. I've seen all the parts of it, like Spatula Hut or whatever it's called, Spatula City.
Yeah.
Spatula City, we sell spatulas.
What's the thing with the car? The car guys, if you don't buy a car, I'm gonna kill this cat.
Wasn't that movie on WNUV every fucking Saturday? When they weren't showing Kung Fu.
Yeah,
Conan the Barbarian. You don't know the
Conan the Barbarian
system.
Oh no, it was solid. And then the last thing I watched, shout out to TJ. I watched Silent Night, Deadly Night, the first one.
How good was that movie?
That movie is low-key amazing. That movie is absolutely bananas, but it is awesome. And
it's basically a porno. It is so ridiculous.
But it's so weird. There's no resolution to the beginning, and the end is just batshit insane. Yeah. But yeah, I did a double feature with that and Black Christmas. Shout out to Bob Clark's Black Christmas. That movie is
Black Christmas rocks. We reviewed that on the show, didn't we? I feel like
but just upon second viewing, really, really, I liked it before. I really appreciate it now. I want the Senator to do a double feature of that and A Christmas Story. Two Bob Clark bangers.
I'm glad you like Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Dude, Silent Night, Deadly Night was insane. I was blown away by it. When they make the kid whose parents got raped and murdered by Santa Claus dress up like Santa Claus at the toy store. I'm what is happening?
What about just the random sex scene in the when he's a little kid in the beginning of the movie and he just sees two people having sex through a keyhole
in the church? There's two people in the church getting it on.
And then my favorite part of the movie is he's a child and they're disciplining him, and then the nun is trying to find him a job, and they cut to her looking for him for a job. Again, the last time you seen him, he was a small child, and then it cuts to him and he's a grown-ass man.
It is. What? That movie is nuts. I'm not going to watch the second one based on your review, but I'm glad I watched the first one.
watch it in a capacity where you could fast forward it just to laugh, because they literally, like I said the last time, they 42 minutes to recap the first movie. They just show clips of the first movie for 42 minutes.
No, it was insane.
They made 4 sequels to that movie, so I haven't seen 3, and I haven't seen.
We could dedicate a whole month to that.
Maybe next year.
But no, that was a banger.
Sorry, excuse me.
But that's basically all this. I watched a bunch of Christmas movies too. We don't have to get into that. But that's everything I watched, Sean.
Oh, I watched 3 things.
Wow.
I know. I watched
3 things in 4 weeks.
Yeah, I watched 2 football games and 1 basketball game. No, I watched. One of them was a docu-series, I guess. Okay, real quick. I watched Bad Vegan, the documentary on Netflix about that chick that ran the restaurant in New York that fucked everybody out and lost $2 million to her boyfriend that said he was gonna make her dog immortal.
Wait, say all of that again?
This woman had a restaurant, a vegan restaurant called Pure Food and Wine, which sounds like a magazine, but is a restaurant. Mm-hmm. And she hooked up with this guy that said he was some kind of black ops mercenary, but he was just really some kind of gambling freak. And he kept saying that, he was going to make her dog immortal and that, he was fighting demons and shit. And kept saying, wire me $50,000. It's a test. We're going to put it away and then you'll get rich somehow. And she's like, okay. Jesus. But the beginning is she was dating Alec Baldwin. I was like, uh-oh, I know how this is going to end. But it didn't end how I thought it was going to end. And she was dating Alec Baldwin. But typical, because she's this kind of somewhat cute, upper crusty white woman. She loses all this money, doesn't pay the staff, then somebody else loans her $850,000, and then she goes to prison for 3 days, and she's fine, typical. So I watched that. I watched the new Christmas Story movie. Please don't ask me what it's called, but it's the sequel to A Christmas Story.
That came out last year, right?
Yeah, that movie's bad. Didn't care for it.
Back, Ralphie's back, right?
Yeah, but it's hey, remember the lamp? Hey, remember the dogs? Hey, remember the blah, blah, blah. It's one of those movies. It's not good. Don't recommend it.
Why did you watch that?
Girlfriend wanted to watch it.
Okay.
And I was
going to say, what did you expect it to be?
I was like, you know what? I'm going to come out of retirement from my movie watching and watch a Christmas Story 4 or whatever.
You were hoping against
Ralphie's backstory and lore.
Yeah, it's just old man Ralphie, he's just all broken down and fucked up, just
it just turns into El Camino, but he's just got his BB gun.
He breaks into the Chinese restaurant that's been closed for 30 years and kidnaps this fucking unsuspecting Chinese family and forces them to make him dinner.
Yeah, that's a movie I want to watch. This is now you're talking.
The goose isn't staring at me. Do it again.
Scott Farkas has been dead for 30 years. It's just his fucking skeleton sitting in the chair. You're not so tough now, are you? It was funny, though, because Scott Farkas becomes a cop. He's I'm one of the good guys now. I was oh, I didn't get an offer to pass on this script. But
yeah, right.
The last thing I watched was, just because Alec mentioned it, I was I haven't seen this in a dog's age. Or he didn't really mention it. We were kind of going back and forth in the text, and it's what's a Magneto? So I watched the first X-Men movie.
Oh, wow.
And this has nothing to do with Bryan Singer, because I still love Thriller. So I'm separating the art from the artist. That movie sucks shit. It's really bad. I remember how. Go ahead.
Isn't it crazy how we think back that's the movie that started it all. That movie started.
Dude, I love that X-Men movie so much. I bought X-Men on DVD, and then I bought a thing called X-Men 1.5.
I remember that. Yep,
which was just a slightly longer version of the first one. They just kind of cut the deleted scenes or something into it.
Yeah.
And I'm buying that. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I love that movie. Back in the day, but then again, I think I refer to this a lot, but I think that comic book fans, we were just so starved for. I mean, it's ridiculous to say now, but we were just so starved for content that that movie was just it was well, this is the best it's ever going to be. This is amazing.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh my God. He's touching his temple to shoot his eye beam so everybody knows what's going on. But, Fucking that line is like, I know what happens to Toad hit by lightning is like theoretically the worst line in the movie, but seriously, what's a Magneto? A very powerful mutant. That's like the worst line delivery in cinema history. It's horrendous. And like it came out, like you could tell it was during it came out around the Grant Morrison stuff, right? Because they're all wearing leather jackets because the fucking actual suits would be too goofy.
Yeah, I think it came out right around the same time, yeah.
But it kind of looks like they're all wearing triple fat goose leather jackets somehow. Like nothing fits correctly, and like the fucking, it's just. We watched Blade though, and Blade's still fun. Like, and that's a contemporary to that movie. But I don't know, man. Like, it was one of those reach exceeding their grasp type deals.
They make the joke in the first movie where it's like, what would you expect us to wear? Spandex or something? Yeah, that's in that movie.
Yeah, it sucks. The fucking like. I don't know. It's just not good. Like there's a cool when Cyclops blows up the train station. Like that's kind of cool.
The action in general in that movie is directed very poorly. I feel like.
Well, I think that's Singer. Like he doesn't do action particularly well unless it's like in a hot tub with a bunch of swings.
There's not a ton of action in it, is there?
No, there's that.
Like there's a lot of like exposition and showing your powers and other ways, but not a ton of fighting.
The fucking Statue of Liberty fight, which is still like kind of hysterical. Like again, I mean, everybody's talked about it to death. Like of all the 35 X-Men movies, there's only like 2 of them that are good, which is kind of wild that they kept making them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, but that's all I watched. TJ.
I'm just going to narrow it down to 2 things. I think I watched more than that, but I don't really remember. So I'm just going to pare it down to 2 things that I watched. I watched Yorgos Lanthimos' Poor Things.
Ooh, what's that?
It's the newest Yorgos Lanthimos movie. I fucking loved it. It's amazing. It's my movie of the year.
Is it on the Dealy?
No, it's in theaters.
Ugh.
It stars Emma Stone and Willem Dafoe and Mark Ruffalo, and it's a coming of age sexual awakening story of a Frankenstein, and it's incredible. Visually, like I love Yorgos Lanthimos' movies, but I would say none of them have been like visual spectacles. Like he's not really known for his like visual style, but this movie like is like dripping with style. Like it looks like this weird sort of like fairy tale Victorian era kind of period piece, and like the sets kind of look like, I don't know, like stagey, but like storybooky stagey. It looks amazing. And in the beginning of the movie, like I would say the first like 15 minutes of the movie are in like black and white, and it's shot with a lot of like Dutch angles and a lot of like weird kind of
like Universal horror type shit.
Well, that or like kind of like even older, like silent film kind of stuff. But I love this movie to death. Like it's funny. Like it's super weird, obviously.
Does it have the dialogue like the typical of his movies?
Mm-hmm. I mean, the dialogue is weird, but like it's less like his like. Well, Emma Stone talks weird because the idea like so she's a Frankenstein, right? But she's literally like. What Willem Dafoe did was Willem Dafoe found a woman that had just recently killed herself, and the woman was pregnant. So he took the baby's brain and put it into the woman's body. So she is both her mother and her daughter at the same time, but she is a fully grown woman with the mind of a child, and he basically is trying to like educate her. So at the beginning of the movie, like she's like a baby, but she doesn't really know how to move, and she talks weird, and then as she goes, she's like hungry for knowledge, so her speech improves, but even towards the end of the movie, she's still very clinical in how she speaks, because that's how she's learned. But everybody else talks very like stagey. It feels more like a kind of like again, very Victorian kind of Charles Dickens kind of vernacular. But it really works. And Emma Stone, I hope she gets an Oscar for this one, because her physical performance is really impressive. Because again, like she's literally learning how to like exist in this body, and like physically, like her getting around on like in the scenes is impressive, and how it's gradual. How like you could like in certain scenes, like she's learning, but she still like kind of fucks up. You know what I mean? And her mannerisms are very interesting, and the way she carries herself. And I thought this movie was just great. And, again, it's really funny. Like, there's moments that are just, like, really fucking hilarious in this movie. And it's got something to say. Like, it kind of talks about in a weird way, it has a lot of the same things to say that, like, men had to say. Like, it's about, like, overall, it's a lot about, like, how shitty dudes are. Like, Mark Ruffalo is hilarious. He plays this kind of, like, alpha male dude that's, like, fucks everybody. And he fucks Emma Stone, and he says some bullshit like, I feel bad for your future lovers because, like, they'll never match up to me. And then, like, fast forward to later, where Emma Stone kind of tosses him aside, and he's just like, "You stupid bitch! Like, I hate you!" Like, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so pitch perfect to nowadays.
It's like the Fresh and Fit podcast.
It's exactly what it is. It's so good. I loved it. I loved it to death. I highly recommend it. I think it's his best movie, hands down. It's great. And then I also saw Saltburn, which is the new Emerald Fennell movie. That's the same filmmaker that made Promising Young Woman, a movie that I fucking hated.
Oh, Promising Young Woman's bad, though.
It's really bad. Saltburn is not really bad, but it's still pretty bad. It's a movie that once it was over, I was like, I like that. I thought that was okay. And then the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, did I really like that movie? I think I was just captivated by how good it looks. Like, it is visually, like, one of the best looking movies of the year. Like, every scene in that movie looks like a painting. Like, it looks so good. Like, whoever shot, like, the cinematographer in that movie, like, it looks absolutely amazing. It's shot in a weird aspect ratio for reasons. To be perfectly honest, I didn't even notice because I watched it at home. I didn't watch it in the theater. Maybe if I watched it in the theater, I would notice. But it's shot in the same aspect ratio as The White House. And that made sense because that movie is trying to portray, like, claustrophobia. This movie is about, like, being rich and, like, being in big mansions. So I don't really understand what they were going for here. But that's kind of the problem with this movie, where it feels like this is trying to be like a biting social satire, and it's not. Like, it's a movie that, like, doesn't take a side. And then I read about Emerald Fennell and her real life, and she comes from money. So it's like, oh, that's why you don't want to take a side, because you don't understand it either, because you're rich. Like, and the ending is, like, super unsatisfying and kind of cheesy. Like, this movie is basically, if you've ever seen The Talented Mr. Ripley, this is, the Zoomers version of The Talented Mr. Ripley. Like, it's basically the plot of this movie. Barry Keoghan, however you say his name, is the lead. He is excellent. I can't remember the other guy's name. He was in Euphoria. His name's like Jacoby something. He's also really good.
Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett. The performances in this movie are great. Like, the dialogue is funny at times, but again, like, the overall, like, it kind of loses you by the end. And when they reveal, like, there's a big reveal at the end of the movie as to, like, what the whole movie was about, and that reveal is really corny, and it's just like, the movie turns out to be basically like a villain origin story, and I'm just like,
I feel like I liked The Talented Mr. Ripley, but it was also in that era where we were buying every DVD. It was like a Way of the Gun era. So I don't know how well it would hold up.
I've watched it a few years ago. It's still good. It's a good movie. But it's very similar to this movie in, like, what it's about. And, like, the other thing is, I'll say that I was kind of confused by is that Saltburn, people kept saying that it was, like, well, one, that it was, like, a gross out movie, and two, that it was, like, surreal and like, weird. And it's not. Like, it's gross. There's, like, two scenes in particular.
Hang on, though. Is it not, or is it because your level of surrealness and gross out is a lot different than...
There's two scenes that are very gross, but, like, at the same time, like, it's not surreal. Like, there's nothing surreal about it. There's no, like, there's not even, like, moments that feel surreal. It's, like, edited kind of weird sometimes, but, like, I don't know. Overall, I don't think it's terrible. Like, I didn't hate it like I hated Promising Young Woman, but I don't think it's very good. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, it's kind of hollow.
Well,
again,
the thing for me that sucked about Promising Young Woman is, like, it's like a setup, like, okay, like, you can make, like, a really good kind of, like, exploitation movie out of this, or at least a passable one, but it doesn't really want to lean into it.
Well, that's the same problem with this movie. It's exactly the same problem with this movie, whereas This
you
movie,
think it's just kind of like a Greta Gerwig situation where they're like too detached from normal humans to fucking pick a side?
I like some of her movies.
But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I think it is. Again, like, yeah. I read more about Emerald Fennell, and she comes from money, so it's like, she's not comfortable making fun of, because it's by the end of the movie, like, you kind of feel bad for the rich people, and it's like, well, whoa, wait a second here. Like, hey. I don't know, like, I don't know. Again, like, it's not terrible. Like, I didn't hate it. I think it's worth watching just for the visuals. Like, I think the visuals are so well done. Like, it's not the worst thing I've seen, but it's certainly not going to make any lists for me. So that's all I watched.
I heard somewhere that the visuals were surreal.
Yeah, they're not. I really don't understand that. Like, Lynchian was being thrown around, and I was like,
does it have a weird filter on it or something? Like,
it's just very, like, again, the scenes are they are shot incredibly well. Great use of color, and like, again, like, I just like, the movie's on Prime. Just like fast forward the movie and pause it at any given time, and you'll be like, Jesus Christ, this movie looks just absolutely amazing.
Sometimes when they put like those like blue and like really highly saturated things on there, people are like, oh, it's very surreal. It's just because it looks weird.
It must be what it is, because I mean, structurally and it's not at all. Like, if anything, it is very A to B. And the things that are the most weird about it are just like kind of dumb and indulgent. It also like works against the movie, because without giving everything away, the main character, like, the movie is kind of about obsession, but by the end of the movie, like, it's proven that he was just kind of playing everybody for sap. So it's like, well, the things that he did, the only people that witnessed them were the audience. So, like, who was that really for? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't, you know what I mean? That doesn't grok. Like, his character, like, so does his character feel one way or another? I don't understand. But anyway, it's fine. It's like a 6. You know, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's a little better than fine.
I guess let's talk about Certified Hood Classic Highlander 2.
I don't know if I've ever seen a movie that is so incoherent. I'm
gonna put it on Front Street. Like, this is a movie. No, it's not that bad. This is a movie. The first 20 minutes I really wanted to like, because it is. It's so we appreciate jank. I mean, this is like Jank Uger. Like, this is uncontrollable.
It's so effing. It is the most janky ass thing. And
I think, was it TJ or Gog said that this movie was like so like, it was such a mess that the writer quit and the executive producer had to take a writing credit just because they finished the movie.
Everything about this production was a fucking mess. They shot this movie in, I think it was Argentina, and they had a total economic collapse while they were making the movie.
Oh, you could have told me they shot this on the set of Streets of Fire, and I would have believed you, because like, it has that, like, art direction wise, I don't hate it. Like, but this movie,
some of the sets look kind of cool. Anyway, Gogs, let's get through your 8,000 notes.
I have a lot of notes about this movie.
Oh, hang on. Let me take a temperature real quick before you get into your notes. I'm sorry, because I don't care for the original Highlander movie. I think that's an opinion shared by TJ, possibly. What are you two guys? If you've seen it.
I've never seen it.
I remember it fondly, but I haven't seen it in probably a decade. So it might be awful.
You're probably like me, where if you asked me when I was like 17, you're like, you like Highlander, right? I'm like, yeah, it was cool.
And then Kurgan and fucking heads getting lopped off and shit. Like,
but it's also one of those movies where it's like, I couldn't remember. I was like, I forgot that part of it took place in present day, because I got that and that TV series that ran for 30 years and everything else kind of jumbled together.
That was a WB banger.
Yeah, it ran with like the Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. and fucking
not Days of Thunder. What was it? Thunder in Paradise.
Yeah, and Hercules, the Legendary Journeys. Yeah, like, it was like of that.
All right.
I loved Hercules.
I don't think I ever watched it.
I loved that show, and I loved Xena when Xena came on.
Yeah, she could still get it,
Sorbo? Was that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hyper-conservative Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah, he turned out to be a real piece of shit.
Oh, yeah, he sucks. God's not real.
Carl Urban was in that show
Was
at
he?
one point.
Love Carl Urban.
No shit.
I think he played like Hermes or something.
Well,
The Futurama guard?
They shot it, yeah, the Futurama guy.
Yeah,
They shot it in Australia, I think, right? Or New Zealand?
Yeah, it was all Australia, New Zealand.
All right, Gogs.
You ready for this?
Can we just talk about, talk about a Hercules?
No, I'm not. I wrote the better part of, I don't know, 13 pages of notes, so we gotta get through this.
Oh my god.
I have very big handwriting.
Pages of notes.
It's a small pad.
This movie is what, like just under 2 hours, and it feels like it's 4 hours long.
I stopped, I paused to go take a piss or something, and I had 45 minutes left. I was like, no.
Yeah, this movie is forever long. Like, it is ridiculous.
You got to get above the shield. Are we going to do that in the movie? I don't know.
We'll climb a mountain or something. Here we go. Highlander 2. The year is 2024. There's no zone. We got a sun shield.
Oh shit, that's this year.
Yeah.
That's this year.
Maybe shit's better. Who knows?
Like, it's cute how everybody thought the ozone was going to be the big problem.
Yeah.
That was a very of its time thing. I remember we were very worried about that.
Well, we cut back on CFCs.
Yeah, now the ozone's fine and everything else is fucked up.
Yeah, we actually fixed one thing.
That's the one thing.
We traded ozone for water.
Yeah, the CIA came and knocked the Aquanet can out of my mom's hand and was like, "Stop it, bitch."
All right. Thank God Opera survived, and they've got the Gallagher splash tarp seats. Albert Einstein waving across a drippy room at this old-ass Nosferatu-looking bitch. Oh, snap, now it's Martian Jerusalem. It's Zardoz, and he looks like he's talking about the Highlander. Dip your fingers in the lightning goop and let me zap ya. Welcome to the shock. Oh, snap, it's a full-blown space jihad. Frank Herbert's gonna get sued. Michael Ironsides has a sloppy eel prison. Okay, so we're going to exile these immortals who we can kill so they can be part of a future beheading tournament where the winner either dies an old bitch or comes back to Mars as Jesus.
It's not Mars. It's, what's the name of it?
It's Zachary or some shit, like Zedaz or Zach Screed, who knows. They zapped the dudes to Earth. And here's something I'm going to bring up later. They have the power to transport people through both time and space. And the idea of a train or a plane boggles their fucking minds. Like, these guys, like Michael Ironsides gets a little autistic in his train obsessions later. Oh snap, street titty during the OCP car TV report. The members of Rat...
Pause real quick.
Yeah.
That, like, somebody saw RoboCop, right? Like, when was this movie made? Because they're leaning into those fucking commercials, like, pretty hard a couple times.
91.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, I see. Okay. The members of Rat know McLeod, and the Tyrell Shield building runs on lake power.
I swear to God, I looked up to see if that was the model from Blade Runner because it looks exactly like it. Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid has entered the chat. There's no way Candyman Lady walked into a room with just a big old exposed tube of electromagnetism and raw dogging it is a good idea. They're stealing the Death Star plans.
This is one of the funniest, like, you know, we always talk about, like, in the movie where, like, the lead like, any woman that sees the lead wants to fuck him. This is, like, one of the funniest examples of that. She wants to fuck Christopher Lambert.
We'll get to it.
Immediately.
We'll get to it. It's not happened yet. This is her just in a room with a tube of energy in front of her.
Oh, I thought you meant when he actually turned into a tube of electro.
This is her at the
This was her terrorism tube.
Yeah, this is her and the rest of Foxhound infiltrated the Shield building.
Yeah, she was stealing electricity from the plant in her lunchbox or whatever.
Yeah. They're stealing the Death Star plans, but find out the radiation is normal. They instantly blow their cover. Oh fuck, Katana is peeping from Mars and also from the past because Richter is gonna read these 21st century he's gonna send these 21st century digital boys to the future to kill the Highlander from the past.
I like how you referred to him by his character's name in the movie and then also his character's name in fucking Total Recall in the same sentence.
Yeah, I didn't get a whatever. Roche, what was his name in fucking Ramchak's Roughnecks? Yeah, I didn't sneak one of those in. Aurora Borealis at this time of day, at this time of year, localized completely in this destitute diner. Let's see. Cobalt. Who's Cobalt? I don't know what that means. Is trying to pull the electric rubber off. Oh, I get it. Maybe? Who knows? It's trying to pull the.
Is it an Ironsides? Is it a metal pun?
No, I don't even know what the words I wrote here. Someone is trying to pull the electric rubber off the planet, and somehow the Highlander ruined or saved the planet. I don't know what that even meant. I guess he invented the shield, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I think they're at the bar and he's watching like the history of the ozone layer or something.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And they're talking about how he saved.
As you do at a bar.
Like point of order. Like everybody talks about how the shield's like making everybody like making the world shitty, but like, what is it really doing besides making it look like England all the time? I know it's like dark, but like,
right?
Does it have any other ill effects?
I mean, probably shit for compasses.
Well, yeah, because I'm sure they're still using compasses pretty regularly.
Well, I mean, I don't know how they're going to circumnavigate the globe. Do you?
I don't know. I'll give it a shot. I don't know. Sat nav, the 9 billion satellites. Anyway,
there's the whole barrel. Doesn't matter. Oh snap! His reverse blood is back, and that means what exactly? Virginia Madsen just dropping off roofs, looking dirty, future hot. Leave.
So
no,
hot.
Fine. Drives car. She is hot. Oh, fuck, I'm gonna quickening. Let me get in this dumpster while I fight the bounty hunters from Critters and Candyman up James Bond. What the fuck does that mean?
The hell does that mean?
I don't even know.
Also, I loved how Michael Ironside is like he's like the general of this whole army, but he's only got 2 henchmen, and he never sends any more. He just sends the 2 hedgehog boys back to Earth, and that's it.
Yeah, with their jetpacks.
Like, at this point, I don't hate the movie. I'm going to be honest. Like, this is kind of like the peak of the movie.
Bananas. Yeah.
Are you going to mention how the guy gets his head removed not quite by getting ripped off or sawed off, but just...
Oh, no, I got that covered.
All right.
No, I have that. Yeah. Oh, snap. The Dark City police just ate shit, and all of the catwalks seem unnecessary until the urban open-air freight train arrives. Now, I believe the train killed one of the Hedgehog boys because I wrote, shouldn't the train now become immortal?
He gets decapitated. The funny thing about having the only way you can kill an enemy is a decapitation. It's funny how you have to constantly think of ways to people getting decapitated.
Yeah.
Decapitated.
I decapitated him.
Like, does it have to be a clean cut, or can they just like hammer the guy's head into? Like, how does that work?
Train wheels took this
the train wheel took it,
and then a wire will do it shortly. Oh fuck! I'm quickening for real this time, and it's gonna do a little 9/11 on this part of old Detroit. Oh fuck! He's young again, and my guy has a full Falcon setup. And where the hell did that hoverboard come from?
It was very Masters of the Universe. Him flying on that hoverboard.
Yeah.
I missed the 90s dark, anachronistic, old, new, future, wet night cities. And I do.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. That dude just napalmed that hobo.
You know what? Blade Runner 2049 got a wet night city.
Everything's got a wet night, anachronistic.
No, the new one I'm talking about.
City. Yeah.
Yeah.
Immortals must just have crepe paper weak necks, and I'm gonna space come again. That one dude's head just got peeled off.
It is like the slowest decapitation, I think, and the least amount of force necessary.
So now we are doing sci-fi Hamlet in Scotland, and literally no one seems to notice that this dude just materialized from the afterlife to call this other dude gay. Yeah. Why a dude with a Scottish accent is named Ramirez, I'll never get.
He's an Egyptian Spaniard. No, he's
also from Mars.
That's a retcon, right? Like that wasn't.
He was from the planet Zeiss.
He has a Scottish accent from the planet Zeiss.
If you guys are writing this movie, and this guy's from, like, classical era times, and he lands in, like, one of the most classical era plays of all, don't you just have him join in the play? Like, isn't that the obvious joke?
I think that's the move, right?
Yeah, that is clearly the joke.
But anywho, he just called dude gay and wandered off. So 007 is a blast from the past.
What is a shithead?
yeah.
Because I'm sure the Kurgan killed him in the 1300s, which did happen.
Oh, apparently,
or mortals can just be called back. Like if you scream their name in the rain.
I think that's what your reference to Candyman is earlier in your notes.
That's right. Candyman. Yep, that's Candyman 007.
007,
Thank you for seeing through this.
That's why I'm here.
Dude's dick probably works again, and he's going to take it for an aggressive test drive with this willing stranger right here in a dirty alley. She got the dickening.
This shit is wild. Oh, the dickening. Very good.
Thank you.
Like, it's not only that she, it's a turbo want to fuck the main character thing, because, like, she just met him and he was an old man.
She zero questions.
Like, Marvel 2099 hobgoblins attack. He kills them, turns into a young man, and she's like, now is the time.
This alley isn't the only thing that's
also, he's like her mortal enemy, like 5 minutes before that. Yeah.
It makes absolutely no sense. Also, Christopher Lambert's like choice to be an old man was just to talk really weird. Like he
talks really weird as a young man.
I couldn't understand anything he was. He's like,
well, the whole thing's like it's like you know how the Unicorn of Blade Runner was a screen test for Legend. Is like his whole like first 10 minutes is just a screen test for Mortal Kombat.
Moving on. He pumped the whole rule set into her. Christopher Lambert is Tommy Wiseau level bad. Sean Connery is too good for this nonsense. Let's see.
I texted TJ while I was watching this. And I was like, "Oh, Sean, I'm not going to do The Matrix, but I'll do Highlander 2 Connery."
Here's an earring. Bespoke the fuck out of me.
This scene lasts for half an hour. It's like weird
when Cinderella's getting done up and all the birds and fairies are just
you talking about her. Oh, no, I thought we were talking about the Kingsman scene. I'm sorry.
So,
we are talking about the Kingsman scene.
I had to look it up. Sean Connery plays Juan Sanchez Villalobos Ramirez, an Egyptian immortal who later lives for a time in Japan, then later in Spain. So he is Egyptian.
What is he, Apocalypse? Like, why does he have the Spanish name? Is he changing names as he goes?
I don't know.
Why would he just become like Gregor McGillary or some such when he moved to Scotland? He just landed on like a 17-syllable Spanish name.
I have no idea. It also none of that explains his Scottish accent.
Okay, here we go. Ramirez is taking all of this shit in stride, and I cannot begin to imagine how insane it would be to fly an airplane under an EM dome. I genuinely
them interests are going all over the place.
Yeah. I genuinely thought dude was going to start delivering back shots while reminiscing about clouds. I don't know. Oh, he snuck up behind her, and I think he was just going to like maybe lay the pipe on her again. Michael Ironside's getting all juicy.
Did you miss the joke where Sean Connery, he's like, I don't eat things I can't identify? Well, that's not necessarily true. Like, the joke here being that he will eat pussy, but he is not able to point it out in a lineup. Like, I don't know what it is, but I'll eat it.
Yeah. That's the mark of a true coon hound.
Oh, we missed his
brain disorder.
We missed the plane ride where it had the one funny moment in this movie where it's like the plane might fucking crash as this weird
the RoboCop thing.
Yeah. Once again, this guy traveled through time and space, and the idea of a plane is like baffling. So, anywho,
a shithead, you say?
A shithead. Mike Ironside's getting all juicy about the Highlander from the past and also the future being a firm young boy again. Oh fuck!
Why is he excited about that? Wouldn't it be better for him if he's still old and decrepit?
Yeah. Just let him die. Like anyway.
Well, they say that, don't they? They're like, he's gonna be dead in like 3 days. It's like, no, go kill him now. I'm very impatient. The movie has to happen.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Oh, fuck. They got dudes literally cooking with ghosts, and General Zod just penetrated the subway. That's one of those TV shows. It was like cooking with spirits, and they were like summoning in people to cook. Like they were coming in like actual phantasms were like doing cooking on one of these TV shows.
Yeah, whoever wrote all the TV bits, good job, because those are funny.
Those are funny.
Yeah.
Like the movie.
What is the Earth?
What
is
here
we go. No, hold
What
on.
is art?
Oh, here we go, yeah. Like, what is the Earth-Highlander planet relationship? Like, wouldn't he know about Kansas and, like, they have interplanetary travel, teleportation, but no trains to drive?
Like, what is their whole purpose on Earth, full stop? Because, like, that's never made explicit.
It's just where they get exiled to.
Why?
Yeah, why?
Reasons?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
I think a subway capable of exceeding 400 miles per hour is a design flaw. Also, whoever shot this scene does not understand relative planes of motion. Like, when you're in a plane doing 400 miles an hour, you're not thrown into the back of the plane.
Gogs with the physics.
672 alleged miles per hour, and then the train erupts the side of the building like a wet fart. Time to see Nick Fury at S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know what that means. This dude literally saw Homeboy at the Wet Opera last night, and he's like, you had a facelift. Oh, that's when he saw his buddy they helped invent the shield with.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy, was nonplussed. He's like, oh, you look better. Like, I literally saw you last night, and you look like you're on death's fucking
You've literally you've lost 40 years. Like, what happened?
Yeah, when he's using his computer that's just futuristic enough for the amount of money they had to spend on it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, 1999, we're at the S.H.I.E.L.D. bunker. Time to literally render all compasses useless and tint the globe. Oh, fuck, John C. McGinley. Is he just... Is he just typing each other? Oh, are they just typing, like, to each other or asking an AI? Remember that scene where they're in front of a computer?
They're typing to each other because the room is possibly bugged,
right? Yeah.
But their computers are not.
Right.
Yeah.
The truth about the ozone will ruin our shield-based economy. Nothing lasts forever, says the guy who literally lasts forever. Ironsides comes from a planet with time and space teleportation, but not windows. Also,
that cab driver has a lot of problems, by the way. Like, that guy needs some kind of therapy.
Also, I thought it was funny that there was no interior lighting in any of these buildings. Like, all of the lighting came from the outside, and it's always night. So, how did that happen?
That guy was like, hey, man,
you like
a
my
rock
sister.
And roll guy. You're a rock and roll guy, right? And then he busts the window. He's like, yeah, hell yeah. What the fuck?
Well, he bashes out one window. He's like, hell yeah. And then he bashes out the other one. He's like, no, now I'm scared.
He didn't understand what a window was. Like, come on, dude. You don't, like, you have... time travel.
Bro, they didn't have windows on the planet Zeiss. Whatever.
Time travel. Okay, fine.
Yeah, Zeiss is like San Diego. It's 74 all the time.
Yeah.
This safety video is bonkers. I don't know what that means.
That's the airline thing.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah. Because you got to go back to that scene because it wasn't long enough the first time.
Right, exactly.
Ramirez is trying to join the Mile Highlander Club.
That was a good one.
I'll fix the planet, you old roasted bitch. What does that mean? Does anyone know what that means? Like, was someone on fire? Like,
put that on the DVD.
That's when he was talking to his wife at the grave and she died in a fire. That's what he was saying. Because the next thing I wrote was, holy ground for who? Like, to what religion? This is
hang on.
Adherence to dogma.
Question about the ozone layer. Did it flash fry? Because they go to that, like, fucking that Civil War hospital where everybody went blind at the same time?
Yeah,
like, what exactly happened there?
Well, I think there was like pockets of just open ozone where, like, it was like lasers from the sky. And, like, she got roasted. Anywho.
But he was fine. Like, I know he's immortal.
Well, he's immortal. Like, yeah. All right.
Alec, what were we saying?
Oh, shit.
Oh.
What? Okay.
What?
Oh shit, she found his memory tower, but like she already knew he's immortal, so like who cares? Why
Put
is
that on the fucking poster?
Why is every car from the 50s like it's Crow Dimension car rules?
I can tell you why. There's a
Go
practical reason. Did you hear the part where TJ said it was shot in South America?
Oh yeah, these are Argentinian, fresh off the lots.
Yeah.
Remind me to invest in decaying urban industrial infrastructure for 90s set piece fights. How is there still 40 minutes of this movie left? Why are you worried about falling? You're immortal. Also, what happens if a mortal decapitates a Highlander? Do they get the juice now? 2024 must be a blue spark-based economy. Why wouldn't Katana just finish him off? Yeah, and
I have a question about the whole alien thing, and I guess, this is pursuant to the earlier movie. What is the point of having a race of immortals and, like, their final form is just to kill all of them except for one? Like, what is the point of that?
It's like Jet Li's the one, but stupider.
Yeah, but that's all him, right? Like becoming,
and that's the best. That movie rules.
Well, the alien
movie
stuff
does rule
in this movie, but even
the problem, but I don't think they quicken on Zeist. I don't think it happens there. I think it only happens in the future on Earth from the past.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't understand, like, the point, I guess, of this is maybe a little bit late for the whole thing, but, like, I don't understand the point of because in the first movie, it's like they have to kill each other because they're going to win, like, a gift of some sort. Like, I think it's referred to as the prize. I don't know what the prize actually is. But, like, why have a whole race of people whose whole design is to literally... And now I'm thinking about this is just human beings, but to decapitate one another until there's only one left, and then what?
Well, and then the Netherrealm can invade because they've completed Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, okay.
Technically, we're all Highlanders.
That's fair.
Honestly. All right, this broad is really going to ask a dude from the 1500s about all his exes, like, honey, take a number.
He only has 3.
Does Homeboy live in a lighthouse in the middle of this city? Like, Ramirez died, right? Okay, he died 500 years ago, and no one is like, fucking how, my guy?
He told him on Zeist, all he had to do was say his name, and he would pop back up.
Right.
Like, the continuity bill is so far in arrears in this movie that every writer got their driver's license suspended. Like, it's bad. Like, try to keep it from one to another.
I rewrote this next one apparently 3 times and landed on, trim game got better, Ramirez. I also had, I like future pussy, Ramirez. I don't know what he was saying. There's not enough energy to turn off the shield without killing all of us. Does it take more energy to turn it off? Does interior lighting not exist in 2024?
They have to reinforce that it's dark outside by having it also be dark inside.
But the light comes from outside, which is also dark. The shield police, they come to me in my head. The shield police, they come to me in my bed. Can we get the big table in here? Partners in the shield business, but why? Like, why does Ironsides give a fuck about any of this? Yeah. Someone in sets put the Gothic slider all the way to the right. The Shield Company has its own super prison, and it's where Virginia Madison and where's Virginia Madison getting fresh threads? She had a lot of costume changes. Super prison equals big open gate with a singular 2x4 swing arm. You got Sonny Corleone and not one bullet punched through the trunk. They split up to look for the old dude, but the 2 people who know what he looks like are together. Also, is it just like a series of tunnels? Like, what is this?
It's an Alien 3 fan prison.
Yeah, it's, you know what? Based.
Thank you. I got shot 28 times. Oh, well, I got shot 407 times.
Oh, yeah, look at my riddled penis. All the bad guys have, like, cameras everywhere. Oh, look,
well, aren't the bad guys all dressed up like the fucking Spaceball stormtroopers? Like,
he's a moron, sir. It's the Decapitator 5000. Like when they put him in that fucking weird blend room, which exists for
reasons.
This old bitch who just got here from 500 years ago wants to solo this machine that he shouldn't be able to comprehend with his bagpipe magic. Like, what the hell is happening and why?
He focused all his immortal energy in one point and caused magic to come out of his fingers or something.
Silly. Katana just got David Lowe pancaked. It's a good day for a truck fight. What is happening on the home world to justify any of this happening? Like, the Highlander planet was Gucci. None of this is necessary. Am I to believe that this science tube leads to a mountain location above the shield? Like, at what height do planes fly? How is there oxygen? What the fuck? John C. McGinley is getting mouthy with a dude who ate 9 shots and then opened up a dude's skull like a coconut. Like, I know what's happening.
Do you think he's actually Bunny? Like, do you think it's a sequel?
He seems like he could be. This is where Bunny's also, a Highlander.
I loved how he just worked for the corporation. They didn't even name. It's just like,
like I know what is happening, but the why escapes me. Like, why does Ironside?
I don't know why any of this.
None of this. No. Why did Ironside give a single fuck? Oh fuck! I'm quickening into the energy tube.
They're also in like a weird spot with their fucking shield plan because it's like, oh, you got to keep paying us or we'll shut the shield down. It's like, if you shut the shield down, we'll all die. Or if you shut it down, the radiation will be fine. So you have like no leverage.
Right. That battle sucked. Are you telling me that you can't just unplug this thing? No way she lives. Oh fuck, she lives. This deactivation seems needlessly complicated. Also, no one knows the ozone is back, so people are probably freaking the fuck out.
Well, I feel like you live within 30 miles of one of those, like, energy dildos that's firing just nonstop into the sky. Like, let's not get into the power that runs through that.
You have super
cancer.
Yeah. It's like using 1 trillion cell phones at once every day. Like, move over 5G. Like, this is what the Republicans are worried about.
Good job on the notes, by the way. Very good.
Yeah, those were good.
Thank you for understanding what I was saying, because it's been too long, and I don't know what these movie was. This movie's dumb as hell.
I really want to like this movie, man, because it's like, it's trying, you know?
It's a big swing. We love a big swing.
It's just like, for it to be so janky and goofy, like, it's also like powerful boring somehow, and I don't really know how, but I think it's just because, like, one, the actors probably don't understand what's going on in the movie because, like, nothing makes any sense, and all the performances, all of them across the board, are terrible. Like, even people I like in other shit are bad in this movie. And I think it's a function of the script. I think the script itself, it just kills the entire movie.
TJ, you gotta ask Alex the thing, but you also gotta remember what Siskel and Ebert said.
Oh, yeah.
Christopher Lambert is awful.
I have to cut this in to the show, but Ebert literally said the thing that we say. He said he hated the science in this movie, and I couldn't believe it when I heard it.
Science.
Bro,
TJ texted me, and I was like, he said the thing.
I literally, because I just clicked on, I was watching something about Highlander 2 on YouTube, and the next video was, their review from like 1992 or whatever, and I was like, okay, I'll watch it. It might be funny. And then he said, I hate the science in this movie. I was like, oh my God. I couldn't believe it. But anyway, Alec, what was your favorite part of this movie? Was it Sean Connery and his Mad Dash clothing antics? I don't know. It's worst segue ever. Worst question ever.
You don't like his? Did you like his haberdashery scene?
His haberdashery, yes.
No, it looked like the if what's that other movie with him where he's wearing red?
Zardoz.
Zardoz, yes.
Zardoz. In Zardoz, he's wearing the underwear. Then in this movie, he's wearing the overwear that goes with the underwear to complete a matching set. This movie sucks out loud. Like it is so bad. And like whoever thought to build a franchise around Christopher Lambert, like no wonder you don't work anymore. I don't have a job anymore. The guy who directed this got up and walked out of the world premiere because he hated it so much.
Based.
That rocks.
I'm pretty sure I read somewhere and I couldn't find it now. I'm pretty sure it was about this movie that he had to be contractually forced to show up at any of the things because there was a clause in his contract about like disparaging the studio, and they argued that him not showing up would be like disrespecting the studio or negatively portraying the studio, so they had to show up to all these premieres and shit for like a certain amount of time.
Fucking movie studio from Edo era Japan. Like you have disgraced the studio.
How
did this not get an Alan Smithy?
Yeah, really. That's a great question. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a movie where the writer dropped out so the producer got a writing credit. That's fucking wild.
Well, this movie also has a thing called like the Renegade Cut, which from what I understand is longer and more incomprehensible.
So I'm glad you brought that up because I was curious because a lot of these fucking movies, it's like this version.
Also,
sucks.
it just occurred to me that YouTube channel is named after the fucking director's cut of Highlander too.
Yeah. Oh shit. But anyway. You can't watch this version. You got to watch this version to get the good version. And we've had experience with that on the show. Remember, it was Daredevil, the Ben Affleck Daredevil. Oh, you got to watch the director's cut. That's
that's where they add all the racism.
That movie. It's the theatrical sucked, and the extended edition sucked. But apparently, like this movie, the Renegade cut of this movie, it's like even fans of Highlander are like, yeah, it's still bad. Like they take out all the alien shit, but it's still terrible. It still doesn't make any sense. It's like, okay, cool.
You can't take out the alien shit. It's the heart of the picture.
It's funny as hell to me, though, to like go to YouTube and look up like Highlander shit, because there's still like a devoted fan base from these terrible ass movies and the fucking TV show that went on forever.
That went on forever. There was an animated series. There's been an anime, which apparently is really good. Like, there's what do you call them, TJ, an OVA?
OVA, I think Madhouse made that one. Yeah, it's supposed to be cool.
I mean, it's like...
I don't get... Yeah, it's a weird property to care about.
I love a nonsense plot, but, like, this is, like, impossible. Like, Gog said it like 5 times, like, in his notes, like, I don't even know what's going on, and, like, he's writing down what's going on in the movie. Like, when you're literally writing down the happenings of the movie, and then you can't parse what actually happened in the movie, that's not a fault of the notes, that's a fault of the movie.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I knew what was happening, but there was no why. The motivation for anyone in this movie is absent. Like, there's no... Like, Michael Ironsides could have just been fine, right? There wasn't like...
Why did he have to kill Christopher Lambert in the first place? Like, I know they say something, but like...
Like, could he not become, like, Mars Jesus unless Lambert was dead and he couldn't run out the clock? Because dude was on his last leg.
But they lampshade it. They fuck up and go, he'll be dead in, like, 2 days or whatever. Yeah. But he can't be dead, right? Because isn't he... did he, like, give up... did he cut off his wings or something?
Here's the deal.
Okay.
He killed all of the immortals, right? And in doing so on Earth, you could have either returned to Zeist or give up your immortality and rot on Earth. And that's what he picked to do.
Okay.
Right? But then, when the immortals just showed back up on planet Earth, when the Rowdy Boys or whatever showed up and they're immortal.
Shout out to Rowdy Boys.
They like the cut on his arm healed itself because now there's immortals in his zone, and then now the game's back on, I guess. But he's still not going. Now is he going to go back to Zeist and become king? Or does he just
isn't there like a way easier way to set all of whatever up?
It couldn't be much more difficult than what they did.
Certainly, it could have just been. It's all they do is have one line of "I can't rule Zeist until he's dead by my hand."
There's still two of us left, and if I kill him, I'll get the ultimate who's a fudge.
Or he's like the king of Zeist or something, and or something simple. You know what I mean?
Why do we need the whole shield plot? Because those again, this is a lack of stakes, right? Like he's immortal again. So they can't kill him, so he can just basically walk through all these fans, fall off of everything, get blown up 1 billion times, and then just go shut the thing off. So, what does that...
Well, technically the fan could cut his head off.
Right, so I guess.
Yeah. Well, he could cannonball through it.
Right. Well, he's got an Achilles neck.
But, what... This is fucking me up. Now I didn't even think about this, but what is the point of that whole subplot? What is it for?
That's the thing. It's not.
Yeah.
He wanted to help humanity, so he somehow, with his dipshit brain, helped the old guy.
Here's how you make the shield subplot. It just came to me. Okay. It turns out that the sun's radiation actually kills the immortals. And he tells everybody that the ozone's fucked up, and he puts the shield up because he doesn't want to die.
Oh, so a reverse Superman.
Right, and then he has the whole fucking, I gotta let these people blah, 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 or whatever. At least something, but, again, the fucking leverage with the shield, it's okay, if we shut it off, you'll all die and we won't get any money, or we'll shut it off, you guys will all be fine, and then what? Do we have, a military force to back any of this? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing. Michael Ironsides could have just saved himself a whole lot of trouble.
I mean, it's terrible as this movie is. He is a lot of fun. He's still Michael Ironsidesing it up.
Chewing the scenery, but
what happened to the billion dudes in their fucking Dune war that they had earlier? Are they all dead?
But also, why did Michael Ironsides need to become part of the SHIELD cabal? What was his interest in being at the big table?
Stonks?
I guess stonks, but what is an economy to an immortal? What are we doing?
All right, let's get our scores in. I have to take a shit, so
fair enough. Let's be done with this, please.
We've said enough of this convoluted mess of a movie.
You've said it all,
Sean.
0. No, that's not fair. 2.
Ooh,
I like 2 for 2 tits. I like the art direction in parts of the movie.
Yeah,
and I appreciate that it's because they could have done the Black Christmas or whatever or Silent Night thing and just remade the first movie, which they didn't do that. But they went so far beyond the fucking pale that it's impossible. Other than the fact the characters have the same name and there's vaguely a decapitation plot, it's not even related to the first movie. So. But everything else is terrible. It's boring as shit. It's hard to see. There's no continuity. Go on. But, this is... I guess it was TJ that said it. Usually we see these movies, it's the worst movie ever made, blah, 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 blah. I'm sure Ballistic X versus Sever is better than this movie.
Right,
but, this movie is rightly considered... As far as, actual movies that weren't made in Canada go, it is properly rated.
Yeah, this is, a real... theatrically released film is wild. I think I might have said this when we brought this up, but so my former stepmom took me to see this in the theater. I don't know what possessed her of all movies, but I remember seeing this in the theater and she was just like, what the fuck is this? I remember being a kid and being like, what the fuck is this? It's wild to think this came out of the theater. So a 2 from Sean.
Alec.
Oh. The 1. This movie's, it's just trash. Like you guys said, this rightfully belongs on worst movie lists.
Oh, yeah.
So Hollywood got it right. Man, it's just junk. There's, you got a Scottish guy named Ramirez. Right off the bat, I couldn't take it seriously.
no attempt to hide that accent either. There's like, fuck
Christopher Lambert is a shitty actor.
He's so bad.
And an barely adequate, like, martial artist. Like, it's kind of astounding that he's gotten as many roles as he has. He's bad. He's bad in most things. He's real bad in this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was bad as Raiden in Mortal Kombat, but, like, that's
this is like, oh god, yeah. He's kind of
like
fun in
that,
Brando,
The Godfather compared to this. I said it before, and I'll say it again. So he sucks out loud.
Well, that's the best. That's a pull quote right there. Sucks out loud. I love it.
Yeah. TJ.
This gets like a 1. This movie is horrible. It's got some of the worst slow karate you'll ever see. Like, the sword fighting is really, really bad.
Trash.
It's confusing and it's weird because it breaks our rule, right? Because it's both insanely confusing and insanely boring. Like, I don't know, like they like, because I think Sean said it. The movie's not particularly long, but it feels like it's like 4 hours long. Like, it feels like it's never. I guess because it's no propulsion. Like, the script is so meandering. It's like it's never going to get anywhere.
It also kind of feels like a bottle movie because even though there's like 9 million different locations, they all look identical because the lights are all off.
Yeah, they look exactly the same. And it's funny because this movie, like, just rips off, like, so many different things. Like, it looks so much like Blade Runner at times, and it's like when they go to the corporation, it literally looks like they just are in the Tyrell building or whatever. Michael Ironsides is fun, but not fun enough to hold my interest, and, like, it just sucks. It's just not fun to watch. It was just painful to get through, and I'm shocked I got through it in one sitting. But yeah, this is horrible. Absolutely horrible. Don't waste your time. It's astounding that this movie got made. Like, it's weird because, like, the whole reason it got made is, like, Highlander 1 came out and it wasn't a big box office success, but it was one of the earlier, I'm not going to say first, but it was one of the earlier things that came to home video, and I guess it was, like, super popular on home video and, like, rental sales.
Also, did they lose the rights to the Queen song between movies? Because, like, how is that not in there?
Probably. Well, is the Queen song in the first movie?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
remember. I don't remember. I only remember from the TV show.
I believe it's in the first movie. It's certainly from the TV show.
Somebody called Matt.
The end credit song in the TV show. But anyway, like, so it was a big hit on home video, so then they're like, okay, we got to make a sequel, and then they're like, well, we don't have any ideas. So, like, some lunatic was like, well, there are aliens, and, like, there's this civil war on this planet, and there's a ozone shield, and, like, there's so many, like, weird ideas, but, like, none of them, like, coalesce into anything. It's just terrible. Shout out to Virginia Madsen, though. She's very hot. Princess Uralan, which was hilarious because the movie looks like Dune, and, like, she's in the movie too. It's like, that's kind of funny.
Another movie nobody wanted anything to do with when it came out.
Also true. Much better than this, though, I would say.
Yeah.
Gogs.
That's 2 for 2 tits. That's it. He sucks. Bad.
Yeah, I like the street tits too, just out of nowhere. Just
that woman
get out of here, street tits.
She might have been dead. Like, that was such a weird scene. Like, I like a dark, wet city, so that aesthetic I vibe with, but, like,
and a dark, wet titty.
But this movie is just
give me your dark, wet titties in my dark, wet city.
Like, it's just, how did Ramirez even know where to fly to? Like,
that's a good point. Yeah.
Like,
well, like, isn't it weird that he can, like, Candyman him into his dimension, but it's so far away? Like, what is the point of that? Did it
zap him into where he got killed by the Kurgan? Is that where he died in the first movie?
Do you think that's their continuity's that good.
Like your respawn point is where you die. Like
when you're playing like an online video game and you spawn like a million miles away.
But like, how would he have any fucking clue?
It's like the old Star Wars joke where it's like we're gonna land on the planet and like hopefully it'll just be wherever we're supposed to be.
Yeah,
what if he can't him into one of those decapitation fans? Like.
Right? Like, what the fuck? This movie's so dumb. Like, so dumb. It's 2 though.
Okay.
All right. Are we doing our year-end show next week? Is that what we're doing? The Mole?
Can we do it in like February?
Well, I mean, we can. We can do whatever. Okay. We can do whatever we want.
We're in charge. We're not contractually obligated to do anything.
All right. Well, then what's January's theme? Do we have a theme?
Well, I already know what movie I'm picking. So, like, no matter what the theme is.
Our January theme was The Pursuit of Crappiness, all Will Smith movies.
Oh.
What are you picking, Sean?
Well, I am picking a movie that is bound to be crappy, but, I'm exercising my out-of-theme rule.
God damn it.
And
I already
playing
know you're picking
my visionary director card.
Yeah,
we're watching Rebel Moon.
How did I forget? I
believe it's Rebel Moon.
You want to just get it out of the way? Part 1.
I believe it's Rebel Moon Part 1.
It is. It is Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire.
You know the rules. Also, good news, the next one will be out in March, so we don't have to wait that long to do it again.
And it'll be my birthday pick, probably.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure there have been characters named like Sky Luke Walker or something like that.
There's a character that's named like Nemesis.
Space Hell Killer.
I watched this thing on Netflix or on YouTube, and it blew my mind. So like Sean would be more familiar with probably you guys, but YouTube, there's a very popular subgenre of people that just break down trailers. I fucking hate when they do it.
Yeah,
it's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
it's always like, oh, this could be that. It's awful. Anyway, Netflix
50 things you may not have noticed in the trailer. Yeah,
I fucking hate it. Anyway, Netflix decided in their infinite wisdom to have Zack Snyder do a trailer breakdown of his own movie.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck am I watching? It's so bad. And like, I don't know. I do not want to watch this movie, but I kind of want to watch this movie. So
I'm putting a gentleman's $10 bill down that Alec will like the movie just because I think he likes Zack Snyder more than the rest of us do.
Does he? Is that true, Alec?
I feel like you're more forgiving of it. You definitely liked Army of the Dead, and I feel like you're on an island on that.
I didn't think Army of the Dead was bad. I'm pretty sure I didn't hate rewatching Dawn of the Dead.
I mean, I think we all kind of like that.
We all kind of like
that.
Some
of it was decent.
I think we still like
I didn't mind.
How'd you feel about Justice League? I don't remember. I think you liked it overall, like the 4-hour version.
I liked the Snyder cut better, certainly.
Yeah, so did I.
I liked the Snyder cut. I liked Aquaman. I didn't like any of the other. Oh well.
He directed BVS. He directed BVS and Man of Steel. And
look, we just got to get through this. Then we got Sucker Punch, and then the Guardians of Ga'Hoole, and we're done. So
every time we bring up Sucker Punch, I'm like, we reviewed it, but we didn't, huh?
No, we've all seen it. Yeah. And I think that movie's only like an hour and 20 minutes, and it's still like interminable.
Yeah. All right, well, next week, Rebel Moon Part 1, The Child of Fire, or some bullshit. At least we get to see Sophia Boutella in a lead role. We all like her on the show.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
All right.
Oh, God.
Happy New Year.
What's the runtime of this movie? Did it
7 hours?
100% it's over 2 hours. I don't know, but I know it's a Zack Snyder movie, so it's not going to be.
I'm going to look it up. Here you go.
I'm looking it up right now.
First one to figure it out wins.
It is runtime.
134 minutes, 2 hours and
boom.
14
it's only an hour and a half.
It's only all right, everybody. That's the show. Tune in next week for visionary director Zack Snyder. Maybe we'll get him on the show. That'd be fun.
What are we, Turkish Airlines?
I don't know. He was on the Letterboxd thing where they asked him what your all-time favorite movies is, and one of his all-time favorite movies is Blue Velvet, and I was like, I don't even want to live anymore. Like, what? Huh?
What if it was just, I like Blue Velvet, and I like Inland Empire, and I like Tattoo with a Bullet Man. Those are the only movies I've ever seen.
there's a clip of some stand-up comedian that I've seen. I can't remember who the comedian was. It wasn't anybody super famous, but he's like doing crowd work and like heckling a crowd, and he's like, "What's your name?" Whoever he's talking to, and he's like, "Zach," and it ends up actually being Zack Snyder.
No shit.
Oh God.
He's like, somebody pull this guy up on IMDb. He's like, "Well, you're a director and show. The only Zach I know is Zack Snyder." And he's like, "Yeah, that's me."
That's
Oh my
wild.
God.
Like, pull out his phone and pull up his IMDb, and then he's like, "Oh, well, I love all your stuff. Put me in a movie."
That's kind of funny.
The idea of Zack Snyder trying to understand human jokes is something.
All right.
He's just a dude who wants to make movies for dudes who like movies.
Yeah.
It's
And being
wild.
jacked. I would bet Zack Snyder's like the most fun person on earth to hang out with. Like 1,000%. Like he fucking rules.
I bet his fucking house is fucking killer. He's probably got tons of cool movie shit everywhere. Like,
oh yeah,
you know,
hey guys, want to go play pool in my pool room? Oh no, let's go to my air hockey table. Let's play air hockey.
He's got bunk pools.
We can go sit
It's just a pool on top of another pool.
We can go sit at my bar and watch sports and eat nachos.
You like nachos? I sure do, Mr. Snyder.
All right, okay.
All right.
Let's go. I really do
Okay.
have food.
All right,
bye everybody.
All right, boys.